Welcome back to the series where we change the element of characters from Genshin Impact. The way it works is we have two wheels, one with all the characters and one with all the elements. We spin the first wheel, get a character, spin the second wheel, get an element, then combine those two together and see what it looks like. Let's get started. We have quite a lot going on in the background of the YouTube channel, so I could use some nice relaxation, and I figure, we might as well just do some Genshin Impact recoloring, and it looks like Yunjin will be our first character, and she has a very unique color theme already. I genuinely have no idea what I'm gonna do for any of these elements if we get them, so we're just gonna figure it out as we go along. And for Yunjin, we're going to be making her Pyro. Okay, let's go see how that goes. For a Pyro Yunjin, I had no idea what I was doing. Usually I put the character into my art program and then I kind of mess around just to see what I want to do for the new color theme. But I didn't do that this time. I just decided to go right in and try my hand at figuring something out on the fly. Originally I was going with a darker red, as you might have seen, but this lighter red really reminded me of the Chinese temples, as well as the Chinese lanterns, and a lot of it seems to share a little bit of a lighter red, as you can see with her dress. I did try to mix in some oranges and yellows as well, just to give a little bit more variety, and as you can see I made the boots white for some reason. Basically I had to either make the tights or the boots a dark color and the other one would be light, and the tights looked weird being a lighter color, so do the boots to an extent, but I also think it's kind of cool to see them a lighter color instead of being a dark color. Although I will say I think there's a few too many different shades of red, like the bottom of the boots are a darker red, whereas the dress and the top of the boots are a lighter red, so maybe that could have been refined a little bit more, but this is good. This is why we look back at it and reflect on what we did. On the bright side, she matches the weapon that she's wielding now, and just for reference, this is what she looks like when put next to the regular Geo Yunjin. I'm aware that the Geo version doesn't really look Geo, but I have to say I really do like the color themes that they went with when they designed this character. Time to give the wheel another spin, and for those of you wondering, no, Yaimiko's not on the wheel yet, but when she's officially released, she will be. But with that aside, oh no. Oh boy. The Raiden Shogun is up. Now the reason I'm worried about Raiden Shogun is because her design is pretty complex in terms of all the little elements all over it, and we have to make her Pyro now. I guess this is going to be a very Pyro-centric video. So this one took a while. I think both of these recolors took the longest of any so far. And at one point, I don't think my recording software was actually recording, but it sped up so much it probably doesn't even matter. So again, I had no idea what I was gonna do for Raiden Shogun when trying to make her pyro, and I ended up using a lot of gold colors as well as some blacks. Originally, I was thinking I was gonna have red hair and do something like that, but I actually ended up really liking the black instead. Of course, I wanted to still incorporate the glowing aspect of the hair since she is an Archon, so I added in some yellows or goldish color going down to a red glowing in the hair. I then continued to plaster the golden color absolutely everywhere and mix it in with more reds and blacks, and honestly, this has got to be one of my favorite recolors so far. I did opt to give her golden eyes instead of just red because I wanted to be a little more unique here, and I think it makes her look even more powerful. And I know with some characters, just like Yunjin's original color theme, they don't always follow the elements per se, but with the Archons, they usually stick pretty close to the colors you would expect for the element. I mean, that makes sense. So with Raiden, I really did want to stick with the reds to make it very clear that she is a Pyro character, and I suppose in this instance, she is the Pyro Archon. Now, as you could probably tell, I did use a darker skin tone on the Raiden Shogun. This was for a number of reasons, one of which being the fact that we use darker colors like blacks within the color theme. If I did this and left her skin tone very light, it would be very contrasting, and overall it just didn't look as coherent. Also, I imagine if this is a Pyro Archon, they're probably around flames a lot, and I mean, we know what the sun can do to people. I don't know if flames can necessarily do the same thing just by being near them, but I just overall assume that this character, being a Pyro Archon, would have a bit of a darker skin tone. Especially with the almost black hair that we decided to go with, I think it's a lot more fitting. As I said earlier, this was probably the recolor that took the longest of any so far. And when I have these characters side by side, I have to say, I don't care as much for what I did with Yunjin as compared to Raiden Shogun. I still feel like I could make improvements to Yunjin, but at the same time, I don't know what those would be right now. However, I feel like the Raiden Shogun's just looks a lot more complete, and overall just more well thought out. Even though there wasn't really much thought, it was just kind of me putting colors on the canvas. As always, let me know which one of these two you like more. Maybe you actually do like Yunjin's more. If you could have either Pyro Yunjin or Pyro Raiden Shogun, which one would you rather have in the game? And with that, I will see you guys next time.